Hi everyone, welcome to my first Black Border draft. Opened a pack with a couple of cards we can consider actually. There's kind of the obvious ones: Galvanic Blast, Chrome Steed, Palladium Mirror, Tumble Magnet, I guess. If you've read any of my articles, you know I don't like Tumble Magnet, so that one's not getting considered. I also don't think Palladium Mirror is anywhere near as good in draft as it is in sealed. You need a lot of heavy stuff for it to be worth it. Stuff like Wormcoil Engine, where parrying it out really matters. Or not even Wormcoil Engine, just things that cost 6 basically. I'm going to take the Galvanic Blast. It's just the card I'm most likely to play. It's got the highest playability versus power ratio. In that it's the best card in the pack, I think, and it only costs a single red, so I'll splash it even if I don't go into red. So yeah, I'll take the Blast. If it hadn't been there, I might have actually taken the Furnace Celebration, because I kind of like drafting that and picking it up early and drafting around it. There's another Palladium Mirror I'm not going to take. I'm going to take the Razor Hippogriff here. It's just the best card in the pack, and it's also in white, which is the second best colour in the set. Red is clearly the best, and then white is a close second. And there's not much else in the pack that I'm going to really consider over it. There's more to think about in this one. I quite like Riddlesmith at the moment. It's a lot more powerful than people give it credit for, and blue is also really underdrafted on Magic Online. I mean, blue is the worst colour in the set, which means it's become underdrafted, but the fact it's underdrafted means you can kind of reap the rewards and pick up a load of late Dark Slick Drakes and that kind of stuff. And if I don't take the Riddlesmith, it's pretty much Ironmere or Kemba Skyguard, and I'm not a big fan of either of those cards really. So I'm just going to take the risk and go for Riddlesmith. I mean, I might not end up in white-red, so I might end up losing one of these picks anyway. So I'm happy to take a card I might not play versus a decent card in a colour I'm already sort of in. And now we have... Having just taken a blue card, I don't think Quicksilver Gargantuan is really worth taking. I think it's a bit too slow to be worth it. And that leaves us with the options of these 4 cards. I'm actually not sure which is the correct one as well. I think if I was in white, if I was definitely playing white or red or both or one or the other, I'd take one of these. But I think the fact that Trigon Corruption goes in any colour, I'm going to take the Trigon. It's the most playable card out of those. It's become a lot less appreciated recently. I'm not sure why, but it goes pretty late, and it's still pretty good against a lot of the Smiths and the Mirrors in the format. It also shuts down a lot of Infect decks. And then a pack with not a whole lot. I don't really like Infiltration Lens and anything outside of Infect, and we're not looking at being Infect at the moment. And there are no white cards, which suggests this Hippogriff's not going to get played. And there are not really any red cards, which means I think I'm going to go with the Sky School. I think in a vacuum it's better than Saberclaw Golem, just because flyers are quite relevant in this format, and I just love to loot. And having said red's not open, Barrage Ogre is the best card in this pack by quite a bit. There are no real competitors there. And then we have not a whole lot. I don't really like Auroch Edgewright. It's 2 mana 2/2 most of the time, and it's awkward to cast. At that, Necrogen Sense is not particularly good unless you've got Glint Hawks or Proliferates. Whereas Gavalier is a card I've been having increased respect for recently. I mean, any equipment on it just makes it a really decent threat, so it comes around a lot later than it should. And Flight Spellbomb cycles and often has use, because people don't realise you can block with flying. And although we've got a bunch, I was going to take the Forge Master, but we've already got... We'll be playing at least 2 of these, I think. And having 3 5-drops is already a bit awkward. I think, even though this format isn't that quick, you want to get off the ground quickly. You don't really want to stall in the early turns or have all your cards cost 5, because then your opponent does just kill you pretty quickly. I mean, if your opponent's playing Infect or similar, then the format is really quick. I think Berserkers is slightly better than Sun Chaser, because if you don't have Metalcraft, then the 4 mana 3/3 is a lot better than 2 mana 1/1. and a counterspell, which is never terrible. A Scoria Elemental, which is pretty much always terrible. So what do we have here? Live Eyelash or Galvanic Blast are pretty much the only options. And I'm actually not sure which I'm going to take. Galvanic Blast is really good, and I think it's more powerful than Live Eyelash. But having said that, I have a lot of cards that Live Eyelash is good with. I mean, the obvious one is Gavalier. It's also an artifact which contributes to the 3 Metalcraft cards I've got, and the Barrage Ogre. Yeah, I think I'm going to take the Lash, actually. It's a rare and you don't get to play with rares that often. Hopefully I won't regret it. But I think it actually might turn out to be better than Galvanic Blast in my final deck. And having just taken a Lash, I guess I also take a Darksteel Axe. I think it's slightly better than Chrome Steed, and you know my views on Tumble Magnet. Without anything to abuse it, I just don't rate Tumble Magnet at all. And here's a pretty weak pack. Could take the Heartstoker. If we get any, what they call trainees, Bloodshot Trainee, is that what it's called? The 2/3 that shoots at 4, it's got 4 power. If we get any of those, it's going to be really sick, because we've already got 2 ways and potentially 3 of pumping. I don't really want to take Kurtak. It doesn't look like we're going to be a strong Metalcraft deck. So yeah, I'll just take this and assume we're going red-blue, straight, non-Metalcraft. And there's a pretty good card to go with my equipment and Spellbomb. And having just taken Riddlesmith, I guess I'll take the Spellbomb. This is obviously sick with Arbalest, but it's unlikely we'll get another Arbalest, and the Spellbombs, I think, are slightly better in terms of straight quality. And not a whole lot here, so take a card that might become useful if I pick up, say, Tumble Magnet or Necrogen Sensor that tables. There's the Kurtak that I didn't really want to take. I still don't want to take it, I just don't have enough artifacts to make it worth it. So I'm going to take the Twisted Image, which cycles better than Steady Progress. There's another shot at Soliton, but I think the Mirror is the much better pick here. I don't have many 2-drops at the moment, but I do have 4 and 5 drops, so yeah. It's also contributes to Metalcraft, which is relevant possibly in my deck. Which of these cards am I most likely to play? Probably the Gear Grabber. Not too bothered about passing Tainted Strikes. Tainted Strike's only good in the bad decks. Didn't table those Necrogen Sensors, so someone's picking them up. Argent Sphinx is a pretty nice one. Even though it doesn't look like I'm going to have Metalcraft, with 4 mana 4/3 flying is still fine. And there are quite a few cards that I wouldn't mind tabling here. I wouldn't mind the Harness, the Gavalier, the Trigon, or the Mirror or the Glider, so yeah. Hopefully we'll table one of those. Or even the Rebuttal, I wouldn't mind that. But yeah, none of them are close to the Argent Sphinx. And then a whole lot of nothing. Snapcell Glider is pretty much the only pick, I think. I don't have enough Mirror to make Galvanizer worth it, so yeah, I'll just take the Potential Flyer. Another Riddlesmith, which I would love to take, but I think I need more artifacts at the moment, considering we now have a lot of cards that do want artifacts. Especially because taking Riddlesmith would mean we still want more artifacts, which would go against the whole point of it. Oh, looks like red's open. Yeah, again, I'd take Embersmith if I had more artifacts, but as it stands, Arc Trail's going to be much better. Although those 2 cards are on roughly equal power level, I think. Wow, Yeah, right. Volition Reigns actually isn't as good as it used. I mean, it's not as good as it would have been in previous sets, because against a lot of decks it's not that good. A lot of decks have small threats that overwhelm you. And against Metalcraft as well, you take their guy and on your side it's a 2-2. But having said that, I think it's slightly better than Galvanic Blast, especially because I'm definitely in blue. It's a shame having just passed Embersmith and Blast. The guy taking those will think, wow, red's definitely open. Well, actually, no, it's not. I just didn't have the option to take them. They were in packs with other good stuff. I think 2 mirrors enough. I don't really want off-colour ones, and I think I'm more likely to play a Saberclaw Golem. He's a decent beta, and especially I'm not playing this Razor Hippogriff, so 3/5 drops is fine. And there's the late Dark Slick Drake I was talking about, and yeah, it's the best card in the pack. Better than Invisimancy, because I'm not really that aggro, and it's better than Hawk Idol because I don't have that many artifacts. Assuming I play 2 Quarter Shield, which I might not, I've only got 9 artifacts. And there's the Gavalier that I was hoping to table, but I think I might actually take the Snapcell Glider. I think the artifact might just be overall more useful. Yeah, I'm not, like I said, I'm not particularly aggro, and even though I have a lot of good equipments, these equipments are fine on any creature. So yeah, I'll take the Glider. And the Reaver's probably the best card in that pack. The Drake I probably won't play. Canyon Minotaur I probably won't play. Melt Terrain I might bring in against 3 colour decks. I already have another Terrain as well, so I can get people with that hopefully. I probably will play the Plated Sea Strider because it looks like I want to defend as much as possible at the moment. So yeah, I'll just put all the cards in and see what I'm missing. That's 24, so I get to make a cut rather than add cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 artifacts. That's nowhere near enough for Metalcraft. So which is my worst Metalcraft card? Probably a Snapcell Glider. Yeah, I don't want to play 18 or 16 lands, because I have 2 mana Mir, but I also have expensive stuff, so I think 17 lands is fine. I also have a lot of cyclers. So I will be cutting... Yeah, I think Snapcell Glider is fine. I think a 4 mana 3/3 most of the time is better than 3 mana 2/2 flying some of the time. Especially when I've got the Mir that curve into the 4 drops better. So yeah, I will submit this. It's not a very good deck, but I'm not sure if I could have done anything different with the packs. I mean, obviously it seemed like red was open, and it seemed like blue was also open. I think the packs just weren't very good, which means hopefully my opponent's decks won't be very good either. But I'll submit this and see you in round 1. Just check the mana base. I probably want a couple more mountains because I have the Barrage Ogre. Yeah, that seems fine. That makes 11 and 8 sources, which is good. Yep, see you for round 1.